This is a Jermyn Street Theatre audio introduction for Wife to James Whelan by Teresa Deevy, directed by Jonathan Bank. It runs from the 25th of June to the 25th of July 2026 at Jermyn Street Theatre, an intimate basement theatre seating around 70 people. This introduction is intended to give vision-impaired theatre-goers an advanced description of the set, the characters, their costumes, and other visual elements before coming to see the play. It may contain some minor spoilers. The play lasts approximately 2 hours and 12 minutes, including a 15-minute interval between Acts 1 and 2. The overview on the Jermyn Street website begins with the quote, "You won't know me when I come back." Synopsis: 1937, a small Irish town. Nan Bowers and her friends are waiting to hear which local lad has won a life-changing job in Dublin. James Whelan shows up triumphant and ready to celebrate with his sweetheart Nan, only to discover that she has plans of her own. 7 years later, James comes home, flush with success. His return will affect not only Nan, but the whole town. Teresa Deevy was at the height of her fame when the Abbey Theatre rejected Wife to James Whelan amid the growing conservative backlash of the 1940s. Now, in 2026, Mint Theatre's Jonathan Bank makes an overdue reintroduction to Ireland's forgotten genius with this timeless ensemble play that pits love against pride. The set for Act 1. At the play's start, the set conveys the impression of a rustic outdoor location in a small town. A low stone wall, about waist height and covered with ivy, runs across the centre of the stage in 2 sections, suggesting a village square. A simple, long wooden bench sits in front of the wall. To its left, stage right, a tall brick wall also covered with ivy and a sheet of rusted green corrugated metal reached to the ceiling, screening one exit backstage. 2 weathered wooden barrels stand downstage. Behind these walls, the backdrop is printed with a tall stone wall topped with ivy and another corrugated metal sheet on its right side. Leaning against it are 2 props that enhance the aged village look, a small rusted corrugated sheet and a worn green wagon wheel. To the right is the main stage door, set in a brick wall and framed with dark stained wooden beams. This provides access to the audience toilet before the play and during the interval. The brick wall continues to the far left of the stage, screened off by dark wooden panels. Before those, downstage left, is a 3rd section of low stone wall. An ancient wooden slatted crate sits atop a covered box behind it. The bench, low stone walls and barrels all form seating for the characters in turn. Warm daylight slowly fades up. The first character, Tom Carey, played by Patrick Mabrearty, is found casually sprawled on the bench, reading a newspaper. Like all the players, Patrick is white Irish, a man in his late 30s with pale Irish skin, dark brown hair, slightly balding at the back, and blue eyes. He is a small, 5'7", slightly out of shape, wiry man. Tom Carey wears shabby, neglected trousers, shirt, breeches, and worn-down boots with a lot of wear and tear. He has a casual demeanour and wears a kind, satisfied expression. He is soon joined by Bill McGafferty, portrayed by Dara Feely, a taller man in his late 20s with short, receding dark brown hair and blue eyes. He wears a grandfather shirt with braces, loose-fitting trousers and boots. He has a confident yet somewhat brooding demeanour. He takes a seat on the right side wall, skulks, and eventually imposes himself on the next character to enter. Nan Bowers, played by Cleona Flynn, is a petite white woman in her mid-20s with long darkish blonde wavy hair. She wears a blue short-sleeved dress that buttons up the front. She casually reclines on the bench, her arms propped on the stone wall behind her, and wears a somewhat wry, detached expression throughout much of the act, though she displays a genuine, if world-weary, affection for James. At times, she fumes and smoulders at comments from the next but one character to enter, Jack. But first, we are introduced to Kate Moran, played by Evan Gaffney, a slim woman of average height in her early to mid-30s, with fair skin, blue eyes and brown, mid-length straight hair. She wears a light blouse, brown skirt and black boots. Kate wears a warm, teasing smile. Her demeanour is confident and open, though tinged with underlying anxiety, which shows itself in subtle fidgeting. She gifts James Whelan a saint's pendant and receives from him a pouch of marbles and a pencil. Jack McClincy is played by Benjamin Riley, a slim man of 5'10" in his early to mid-20s with hazel eyes and auburn hair in a short back and sides. Like the others, Jack is dressed in typical 1930s rural Irish clothing. A waistcoat, shirt, wide-legged trousers, a cap and brown brogues. On entry, he replaces Bill on the right side wall. He later returns with a suitcase that he has immense difficulty lifting, then goes and sits with Nan on the bench, fawning over her. His expression is vacant, almost angelic in his innocence. The final character to enter in Act 1 is the protagonist, James Whelan, played by Fiat Kunz, a tall man with athletic build, blue eyes and short dark blonde hair. He bounds onto the stage in brown-green trousers, a light brown shirt and cap, a newspaper in his pocket, full of larger-than-life swagger. He sits on the central wall, spins about and casually slides down beside Nan on the bench, soon putting his arm around her. Later, he exchanges punches with Bill. Left alone with Nan, he gathers her into a warm embrace. At 34 minutes, there is a 15-minute interval, during which the set is transformed before us into James Whelan's office. The painted backdrop is drawn aside, revealing a mottled brown office wall with a narrow waist-height shelf running along it. The 3 sections of low stone wall are rotated to reveal office sideboard units with cabinet doors or shelving, holding binders, boxes and documents. The tall brick wall rotates to become a hutch bookcase with open shelving above and a storage cabinet below, and is pushed back into the corner, now blocking the left stage door. The left side green corrugated panel folds back into the wall, forming an office wall that matches the back wall. The back left and right corners of the stage remain as brick walls, and a pale green wooden office door with a glass panel is fitted into the doorway. A wooden desk with a worn leather top occupies centre stage, complete with black rotary telephone and swivel chair. A hat stand is placed beside the door, and a clock is hung centrally on the back wall. The first character to enter in Act 2 is Apollo Moran, played by David Rawle, a trim man in his mid-20s with blue eyes and short brown side-parted hair. Apollo wears a blue and white striped shirt with striped braces, smart dark trousers and brown leather shoes. He has a youthful energy and enthusiasm about his expression and demeanour. At the start of the act, he is hanging tourism posters on the back wall for Irish tours, Visit Bangor and Great Southern Railways. He straightens a bunch of letters on the desk and generally fusses about. He brings James a ledger book towards the end of the act. He is soon joined by Nan, now McClinsey, who now wears a black shawl over a red blouse and striped black and patterned skirt. Her demeanour is much changed. She is downcast and humbled. Next enters Tom Clancy, much the same as before, now also wearing a green waistcoat. When James Whelan returns to the stage, he too is much changed, wearing a smart navy blue 3-piece suit and burgundy tie. His demeanour has also changed. He is still confident, but now more stiff and formal, standing tall with hands planted on his hips. He takes down the posters Apollo has just put up. The last character to be introduced is Miss Nora Keane, played by Molly Hanley, a woman in her early 20s, 5'7" and of medium build. She wears a bright pink dress and hat and carries a little bag in white lace-gloved hands. She behaves flirtatiously towards James, even giving him a shoulder massage while he sits at his desk. Kate Moran also soon returns, her demeanour much as before, although now she is wearing a patterned dress. She makes herself at home, casually swinging in James's desk chair. In Act 3, she will bring a basket filled with paper bags containing produce. The following contains a significant visual spoiler. This act ends with a sequence of action, beginning with Nan and James alone together at his desk. She swoons, dropping her shawl, and he brings her a brandy. She is briefly left alone with a money box on the desk. When James returns, she makes a break for the door, and he catches her, throwing her to the ground. Act 3 begins with the clock spot-lit on the back wall. Tom and Apollo enter, now wearing bus driver uniforms consisting of long tan coats with red cuffs and collars, satchels and flat black driver's caps. They bring parcels and packages wrapped in brown paper, carried in sacks and the crate, and bundles of letters, leaving them atop the sideboards. A green pinboard now sits atop the sideboard to the left, bearing a Silver Wings Company logo above a map of Ireland and a printed timetable. A blue Motor Tours in Ireland poster hangs on the right side wall. James has removed his jacket and wears only his waistcoat. Nan is yet further downcast and will bring a bucket and scrubbing brush. For any other information, including access needs, please call the administration line on 020 7287 2875 and ask to speak to Penny Horner. We look forward to seeing you at the performance.